Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Riverbend Talent on the Big Z, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis, closed caption, of Macias Insurance. I always like to try to make the closed caption actually write out the word. Voorhis. Anyways, big night tonight around the Riverbend, the Sea Shanty Sing-Along, of course, going on down at Morrison's Irish Pub. Jacoby's Art Center presents Comedy Night with Nicholas Culver, Joe the Animal, and Tommy Mosslander. And that's going to be hosted by Bob and Ben with special guest Kevin Edwards and music by, I don't even know how to say that, Is that how you, are you going to do it for me, Pigpen?
Gorai Mahal.
Is that how you say that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Anyways, get down to the conservatory. Check it out from 7 to 9 tonight. The Truckers at Fast Eddie's, Grand Pagano up at George's Pub and Grill until 9. Skylark Brothers at Peel Woodfire Pizza until 9 o'clock. Blake Bolts at the Cabin at Judy Creek until 9. Hunter Sharp going until 8:30 at the Prairie and Dorsey. And, of course, Experience Live Music Row each and every week down there in Belleville with their little ongoing what do you call it? Yeah. Ongoing, is it a festival? I guess it is a festival.
That Graham's been playing for a long time in the area.
Yeah.
Who's that?
For sure.
Graham.
Oh, Graham Pagano.
Almost as long as me.
Is it?
It's my nephew, Stewie.
I remember when he came here from California with Scotty.
Yeah.
There's a podcast on that we did on Riverbend Town. Yeah. That extra voice in there is our guest tonight. Grammy nominated. Got to throw that out there right away. Now we got your attention. He's going to be right there with Jelly Roll and Beyonce.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
And Shabuzi. I just wanted to say that. I don't even know who it is.
I like the looks of Beyonce, Shabuzi.
But that's the best country solo artist Grammy nomination.
Yeah. And those are coming up.
Yeah, February 2nd.
February 2nd.
Yeah, definitely. I made the ballot for that. Obviously, I think when I was talking to my promoter last, BigNoiseNow.com, Al Gomes is the name. He's been in the business for. He's 65 years old, so he's been in the business for 45 years. He's won Grammys. A Beach Boy. When Beach Boy's only Grammy they got, he was their sponsor for them.
Nice.
Yeah, their promoter, and there's like 100, 150 songs. So I made it into the top 100, 150 on the ballot.
Nice.
And then after that, they go a couple weeks and they vote. They get to the top 5, and obviously I didn't make that top 5.
Right.
But it was just an honor to be at least mentioned on it, and brought up to it and to be considered. I tell you what, after they started that just so you guys know, that process, what they do is they get it out to all those people. It's weird. The Grammys was a surprise to me on how they do it. There's about, for that group, the best country solo performance, there's like 500 or 600 people on the Grammy board that actually vote. They vote for it. So they're voting for the top 5 whenever they get to that point. And it was, to me, it's just pretty cool that there's only 500 people out of the 20,000 or 15,000 that are actually there. So each individual, each individual act, or not act, but each individual category has, some of them may have 2,000 or 3,000 people, some may have 5,000 people. It just depends which one it is. And again, I was just honored to be included, and my name even mentioned in it, right? But it brought a lot of views to a lot of my stuff.
Right. Speaking of your name, I never got around to mentioning. I just said Grammy nominated, and we took off from there. Oh. Tracy Inman is our guest tonight.
Yeah, so Tracy this is the third time being on the show. Third time on the show. Third time's a charm because I think I screwed both the first two up somehow.
Yeah, well, it was audio issues and et cetera, et cetera. He was always really cool because, we taped his in advance, and that means you don't know when it's going to air.
Right.
Exactly.
And a lot of stuff happens by the time it airs, especially with Tracy because he's flying up the charts.
He's moving fast.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
And as for me not messing this one up, I got 55 minutes. Trust me, I'm going to mess this up. So real quick, Tracy's been on with us a few times. We've talked about how you came to be and how you just started writing songs and didn't even really know how to play guitar. Just was writing some songs, and you've learned along the way.
Yeah.
But you've jetted up really fast from a guy who's just jotting down some ideas to a guy who's Grammy nominated. Let's step back to that real quick. Last time you were on, we talked about the process of getting your songs to what is the guy, Richard Knight or
A-OK.
Adam Knight.
Adam Knight, yeah, Adam Knight.
The A-OK Records. Yeah.
Sorry, your name's now Richard Adam. I've renamed you. No, anyway, yeah. Adam Knight. We discussed all that. So if anybody wants to know, you can go back to the podcast. But real quick, let's talk about what you just talked about with the Grammys, because I still am a little confused on the whole of it. So originally when we talked, you said, hey, I'm being considered for a Grammy nomination. How does that choice get made? Is that the 500 people that you're talking about?
That's so the Al Gomes person that I talked about from BigNoiseNow.com.
He's your sponsor.
He's a sponsor, but he's also a promoter. He's been in the business for, like I said, 35 years. He's been involved in, I think his people he's been with won 6 or 7 Grammys. If you go to BigNoiseNow.com, you'll see my name on there. But you'll see a bunch of other names too, and it has all the awards and stuff for different things. Al is actually a member of the Grammy board as well. He reached out to me. He had heard my song, "Being with You." He had heard that song. It's "I Don't Regret" on the album, but it's "Being with You" is what we brought it up to be, as "Being with You." He had heard that song. He grabbed that. He grabbed about 8 other songs, and they put it in front of a pool of people. And going through SoundCloud, actually. So they have this, they grab people they don't know, they have them listen to songs, and they go through hundreds of people, listening to those songs. They choose your best song. And then he takes that song and he presents it to the Academy. And once he presents it to the Academy, they either decide they're going to do it or they're not going to do it. So it's pretty cool that they chose to go ahead and do it and put it into something. A lot of people don't even make it to that step.
Right.
So I made it to that step. I'm not bragging. I'm not doing anything like that. But I was happy.
So what was the guy's name?
Al Gomes.
Al Gomes.
Gomes.
Okay.
You can look him up on Google. You'll see a picture of him, a bunch of different articles and all that stuff.
So Al Gomes is a member of the Grammy Academy. Yes. Are members the only ones who get to come and say, I want this song considered? Or is there a group? How do?
That's a great question. From my understanding, is the only people that can be considered are the people that are that can present anything, are the people that are on the Academy.
Right.
So they'll find songs that they like, or they'll sometimes reach out to the unknowns like me, right? But they believe in that song so much that they'll go ahead and do something with it, right? So that's pretty cool.
So and again, this is I'm pretty sure that 90% of people that are hearing this at this time are just like me, totally unaware of the process of getting down to winning a Grammy. The absolute first step is have a song.
Yeah. Yes.
And the next thing is that you have to have a member of the Grammy Academy decide that they think your song is worthy of being considered.
Yes.
They take it to the Grammy Academy. Mm-hmm. And then say Al Gomes, he might have brought more than just your song. He might have brought
he brought a bunch of artists.
Say he brings a dozen,
that's
or
about
whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And along with him, there's all these other members of the Academy who also bring.
Yes.
So you said you threw out the number 500. So let's just say 500 people bring 10 songs. That's 5,000 songs that are being considered. And I'm not saying that's
agreed.
The way
the very
is.
First step, there's tons of songs.
Yeah, thousands and thousands.
You get past
of songs.
that first step,
right?
Which is what you're leading to now. You get past that first step, and that's when it gets to the narrow numbers before that 5.
So I was going to say, so the first thing is they've got thousands of songs, and they got 500 people basically voting on it. Do you know what the first cut is? Like how many they take those thousands? They take it down to 100. No. There's a number out there.
There is a number.
I just didn't
but
know
I'm
if
not.
you were aware of it or not.
No.
I was just curious as you started discussing it. I thought, wow, this wasn't on my mind. But suddenly, I want to know from beginning to end how this goes down.
It's interesting. So my involvement was, he had reached out to me. Liked that song. He liked some other songs too, and like I said, they put it in front of a group, a bunch of different groups of people, and the song that he actually liked the most is the one that they had chose, right?
Nice.
And he presented it, like I said, and then it went in front of I guess 500, or went in front of however many people first, right?
Nice.
And then it got to the 500 people that just voted for that one specific category, and then it got down to like 106 or 110. And then I'm like sweating, saying, please, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm a realist too, you know. You're up with Jelly Roll, Shabuzi, Beyonce, you know. You're like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get to that.
But you made the, you know, to be considered for a nomination, and then to make it through the first hoop to
the first round,
to the round of you're actually nominated, and they're going to vote on it. That's
on
that's
the ballot,
pretty big.
on the official ballot, or on the ballot. It was cool.
I'll let you in on something a lot of people don't know. Sitting at my house, I have a Grammy.
Do you really?
It's David Crosby's. I traded him some stuff for years ago. I found him in the park hard up. I'm like, I'll take that Grammy.
Yeah, got it in garage sale.
Right.
Yeah. No, but the whole process is exciting. When he called me and said, hey, I got through the first round. These people are considering it. And, you know, you're going to, it's like a 3 or 4 week wait after that to figure out if you're going to get it into the next round, and then the final round's the 5, right? But I made it into that next round, which was cool. And then you're excited, but you're also realistic. You're like, man, is it really that? Am I going to get that? You know. But it was definitely a good turn in my life, good turning point, because I can tell people that when I'm trying to book.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me?
Nashville artist, Nashville country artist, because I went down. That's where I did my record,
right? And
that's where I did a couple videos, you know, on YouTube. And then if I can tell them that, and I can also say, hey, I was Grammy nominated. I was on the ballot for the 67th annual Grammy Awards, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So real quick, just to help me with my timeline here. At some point a few years back, you were in your life, you went, you know what, I'm going to write songs. And it wasn't, if I remember right, you didn't start writing songs when you were 5, like a lot of people say.
No.
You as an adult decided you were going to start this. What do you remember what year it was you sort of thought, I'm going to start writing songs?
So I dabbled in it back when I was like 18, 19, and 20,
Okay.
right? And then back when my kids were little, I think my youngest was probably 6. So 2000, right at 2000, that's what the Daddy's Girl, that's when I wrote that. And then I won another 10 years or so. I wrote the Dad song, which is on the album. And then, about 2 years ago is actually when I went to Nashville. 2 years ago, 2 days ago, actually. So 2 years and 2 days ago is when I recorded on Facebook, the song on Facebook, and Daddy's Girl. And actually, If This Is Heaven, I believe at the same time, I recorded all 3 of those. But I had just written the on Facebook one like 2 months before that, and you know we talked about the process when I was here. You know, Adam's a great guy. You call him, you talk to him, you tell him what you're thinking. They tell you what you're thinking. You know, whereas in the old days everybody'd sit around, try to figure out the song, write it, put music to it. I'm a lyricist for the most part, right? You said pick a guitar. I still can't pick a guitar. I can play 3 chords, but I can't play them right. You know. But you get down there. We went back and forth with some stuff, and the album is like he read my mind on the majority of the songs, and we had, you know, a little bit of feedback back and forth, and then we got it right. So to answer your question, yeah, I mean, the majority of them were written within probably 3-4 months of creating that album. And it's weird, ever since that I did that, I have an explosion of lyrics in my head, and I'm not bragging, and I don't know if they're even any good, right? But I have an explosion of lyrics in my head, and I'm going back down there in February, and I'm going to do 2 more songs. One of them is a Christian song, believe it or not, which is cool because I love God and all that. But it's like it's brought out the, lack of a better word, artist in me, you know, the creative artist.
Yeah.
So we talk all the time. We talk all the time. Confidence is huge.
It's a very
confidence
huge.
is very huge, and that's what you're experiencing now.
In this business, it's definitely
you
definitely
got confidence, and you can let it go, because a lot of us are very timid because we're not getting rewarded like you were.
Yep.
And we're like, should I keep doing this, or how's it going?
Well, I tell you what, if the first 2 songs I did, I wasn't planning on making an album at all. But after the feedback I'd gotten from that, from people I played it for, from that producer, from other people, they're like, you should come down, and do you have any other songs? And I started thinking, well, yeah, I do. Started writing them and all that, and we started putting together. Within 8 months, we had the whole album. And my favorite song is "I'm Drunk Again."
Right.
I don't even drink, right? I haven't drank in 10 years and a couple months now, That was kind of a holdup for myself, too, in the creative part, for a long time. I chose to partake in that kind of lifestyle versus, the creative part. So, thank God for getting me out of that. But this, like I said, the last couple of years just been an explosion in creative art for me. It's really cool to be able to sit down, and me and my wife, one of the songs I'm going to do is called "Get Over You," and me and my wife were in London over the summer, and we took a trip to York, and you take the train everywhere over there, right? London, beautiful place to go. I'd recommend it to anybody. York, Wales, and all that's pretty cool too. But we're on the train, and this song just hit me in the head. It's called "Get Over You," and that's when I'm going down in February. I want to record it, and I'll bring it up to you guys whenever it's done. But I think you'll be really surprised. I'm really, really proud of the music that's to it right now, and once I lay those tracks down to it. So to get back to that aspect, I used Adam Knight again. I called him up. I sent him the lyrics. I called him up. I said, "Hey, what do you think about that?" And he's like, "Man, I love that." He says, "I really do." And we started talking and getting our ideas together, and I'm like, well, what can we do? Do you think we can get this together, get it going? And he sent me back the first cut of it, and I was like, that's kind of not what I was thinking, And within 2 days, we had went through it again and got it to where I want it to be, and I think it's going to be an explosion as far as a good song goes, right? Now, whether or not it's going to make it anywhere, that's a whole different story, but it's definitely going to be a good song that...
So here's a couple comments on your commentary there. First of all, I love it. I was trying.
I got the gift of gab sometimes.
I was trying. Born and raised right here. So I was trying to get a little bit of a timeline down, and Dennis said, you've got confidence, you've got some rewards, you've got some pats on the back, and that helps because you feel like, oh, I can do this. People like what I'm doing. Where when you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs and people are looking at you like you're weird, you're like, I don't know what you do. But for anybody out there who's thinking they want to be a songwriter but they're unsure. Let me give you a little bit of confidence here. Let me tell you what can happen. In 2023, you can call somebody and decide you want to cut a couple songs, and by 2025, you can be Grammy nominated. Because it happened pretty much that fast for you. Where 2023, you're on the phone with Adam Knight, you're humming melodies to him and feeding him lyrics over the phone.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
By 2025, you've got a band. You're Grammy nominated. You're learning the git fiddle. You got an album out. Now here's another comment I want to make on it. That's something you said is that when you recorded the first 2 songs, you wasn't even thinking there was going to be an album. You didn't think it. You weren't even thinking that people were going to listen to this so much. You wrote these songs. You wanted a record. You wanted to have these songs as a recording. I believe this is one of the reasons why maybe Adam Knight and folks are picking up on it is that when you're writing a song because you want to write a song, it's different than when you're writing a song for hoping somebody's going to like it.
Yes.
And when you say, well, I didn't think I was ever going to make an album, that means you were writing those songs just because you had it in your head. You had these lyrics. For me. Yeah, you're writing them for you. Yeah. And I really think that people who writers write all the time. Yeah. You can't help it, whether good, bad, or otherwise. It's just what you do. And I think when you do it, regardless of the pats on the back, is when the stuff gets really good. You throw a few pats on the back to throw the confidence in, and now you're saying you're looking at me a lot different than when we met a couple years ago. You're going, hey man, this next song is going to be an explosion. Where when I first met you, you were proud of your songs, but you were also much more timid about it.
Yeah.
And you were excited with, but you can see that you're like, oh my gosh, people are responding to what I'm doing. And now you've worked with Adam more, where you're probably gelling a lot better, and it's easier to explain to him what it is you want.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to interject by saying you've got talent. that matters a lot because I always wrote every single song I ever wrote for myself, did not care what anybody thought of it, and they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And part of it was I chose to be odd and not normal at all with what I wrote. I wanted to be outside the box big time. That's harder to sell.
Yeah.
But I think you've been guided properly by people, and they've taken your talent and molded it properly. They used to call it artist development. It's a little different these days, but I think that's been a huge help. But the bottom line is not everybody that writes songs jump to a Grammy list in a year. That's talent.
Some of us have to trade David Crosby stuff to get our Grammy.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think you're not lying. They actually have that thing now.
Right.
He was using it for a doorstop anyway. He didn't care.
I just want to give him some confidence.
Well, I was going to say. I was going to.
I need more.
Jumping on his back with what he said.
He's playing the Super Bowl this year. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
He is.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'll get to that in a little while.
In my front room with the big screen TV behind it.
No. You are playing the Super Bowl.
Twice.
It took me a minute to get there. Yeah.
So, you got a gig this weekend at Backstage, right?
Yeah, Backstage Bar, the old Lori's place there in Edwardsville next to the Wildie Theater.
Right, across the parking lot from the Wildie in the back there, the Backstage. And then you play on the 25th at Copper Fire down in Belleville. You played down there and enjoyed that one.
Oh, yeah, it's a great place to play.
And then the Refinery, you played down there. They want you back.
We had a lot of people show up for that.
That'll
awesome.
be February 1st. On the 15th of February, back to Copper Fire. And then on the 22nd of February is when you're playing the Super Bowl.
Yeah, no kidding.
Besserman Super Bowl up in Staunton.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying now.
It took him a minute.
Up in Gillespie.
It took me a minute.
Up in Gillespie,
right. Yeah, Gillespie, sorry.
And we got Fast Eddie's on there in March as well.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
That's a tough circle to break into.
Although, like I said,
it's
this
open,
year they've decided to open the doors to more acts, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, they should spread it around.
Yeah. So that's cool.
And that might not be the only gig we have there. There might be other opportunities too. Where we've been talking with them. So
3 gigs in March, including Backstage on the 14th, the 15th at Tri-County Rod and Gun Club, and then the 29th at Fast Eddie's right here in Alton. So we'll go through more of that as we go along tonight. But one thing you mentioned earlier that segues perfectly into the question I want to talk to you about tonight, and that is that the fact that you got that label now, Nashville Recording.
Oh yeah.
Grammy nominated, and tell us a story about how you got on Touch Tunes Jukebox, because that word Grammy made a difference there, didn't it?
That made a big difference, right? So for 3 or 4 months, I'm trying to figure out. There's a Sirius XM which I'm still trying to get on, and that's like I don't know how you get. I'm trying my best to get on it, but the Touch Tune things, I was emailing them, I was calling, and I wasn't getting a hold of anybody. I'm putting on there, hey, Grammy nominated, blah blah blah, and it seems like it's weird. We're into 2024, 25, and everything's supposed to be so much better. But what's not any better? What's worse? Customer service.
Right.
It's worse by the day.
Because you can't talk to a human at 80% of the stuff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You got to press a button. You got to basically be on there 5-10 minutes before you can talk to a human if you're lucky enough to. Otherwise, sometimes they hang up on you, right? Mm-hmm. It just automatically, hey, we can't answer that because whatever. But I started reaching out to Touch Tunes over and over and over again, and then I finally got a hold of somebody. Somebody finally answered the phone on Touch Tunes. I called 5-6 times, and I started talking to them. I was like, look, I just want feedback. Can you at least give me a little bit of feedback on the song? Do you guys like it? And I told them, and that's where the Grammy thing comes in, right? I said, here's the one song, Being With You. I said, it's Grammy nominated, it's on the ballot, and I'm a Nashville recording artist. What do I have to do? They said that fits our criteria. So she said, I'll send you an email on Monday. I got to send it off to somebody else. So I thought she was blowing me off, But Monday came around, lived up to her word, and another guy had emailed me, and he's like, hey, I listened to it, and he says, we're going to get all your music on. He listened to the whole album. He's like, we're going to get all your music on there. And within a week, it was all on TouchTunes. So, funny story. You know, I'm married. I love my wife, Kelly. I love you. You know, she's out there. She's listening, hopefully. But as soon as I got that on TouchTunes, I go to every bar in Wood River, right? And as soon as I walk in, I make sure that song's on. You know, and I'm like, turn it up if it's not on. Telling people, turn that thing up, because but after a while, she kind of got, women, they get kind of a little bit tired of the same thing over and over. Hey, you probably shouldn't do that, but I still do it.
Yeah. How could you not?
Credit card bill came in the mail, $5,000 on TouchTunes.
Well, the cool thing with TouchTunes is it's an app now.
Oh, nice.
So you can play it. I can sit at work and play it down at the pump house if I want to. I'm not saying I do that.
Yeah.
But to get people to listen to it in case they don't know it, right? But what's really cool is my album comes up, picture of me on the front of it, the clock and all that stuff. It just, the confidence thing, man, it just makes me feel so much better that I accomplished that. I accomplished that Grammy thing. Like you said, 2 years ago, I would have never even imagined doing any of that. But you got to be diligent with what you're doing. You got to call people. You know, a lot of people say, hey, stop calling those people. You're going to bug them. Stop doing this. You're going to bug them. My advice to every one of you, don't stop.
Right.
Do it. Keep calling those people. They're eventually going to have to answer. They're eventually going to have to answer up for why they didn't include you.
One of the most difficult things as an artist to do, too, because you get turned down, you get turned down, you get turned down, or just ghosted, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
And you want to give up, but you can't.
There's a big radio station across the river, right? And I called and requested that song. Other people called and requested. It was right after the first song came out, after on Facebook. The TTYL song has a video out. It got played on the radio, stuff like FM radio. Warrenton played it, Wentzville, a couple other spots throughout the country. It got played like 30 or 40 times, which is awesome, right? Even one time is just good for me. But I'm calling this place in St. Louis, and they'd answer, and hey, can you play this song? Oh, we don't have it. When you know that it was released to them, and you got a paper that says it's released to them, right? And then somebody else calls, and they said, oh, they don't have it. Somebody else calls, and they don't have it, and you're like, well, we know they have it. But to me, I'm a local person. They probably get 5,000 calls a day, play local stuff, so I don't blame them to an extent. But why don't those people those big ones have a local talent on a Sunday, just playing songs by local talent? They even had and like I said, I'm not saying the name of the radio station.
Oh, come on now. That was my next question. We want to get people to call is it WIL?
Yeah, that's
we actually rent 94.3 from WIL. Yeah. We're in bed with them.
There's a 92.3.2, right?
I'm in bed with everybody.
Ain't there a 92.3.2? My daughter listens to it on the radio. Yeah. In her car. I hopped in her car, and it's like it's 92, not 92.3, but still owned by WIL.
We're 94.3. And we rent that signal from WIL. But I'm going.
Well, we're also on 92.3.
Oh, so are we?
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah, so you can actually pick it up far enough away if you got HD radio.
Oh, there it is.
But we've got listeners way down in Missouri.
Yeah.
That are on that signal on an HD radio. Gotcha. Yeah.
But so, my point is that I would hope that they would see something like this or reach out just every once in a while. So, and one more story before you take off.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
They were actually raising
so
they were raising money for something, and you could pick only the song you want to play, and you'd pay money.
Right.
So I paid like $75, right? And I asked them to play my song. They didn't play it. I sat there on that.
Even
after paying $75,
they wanted you to ask for Garth Brooks or something.
Exactly. Now, like I said, I don't blame them because they probably get 1,000 people asking that stuff.
Now I'm gonna throw something.
Call them.
I'm going to throw something else out. You gave me, you always hear about, it's a $1 million idea right there. I think you might have given me one of those $1 million ideas.
Was to play my songs on 94.3?
Absolutely. No, you were talking about how customer service is down. Yeah. And no matter who you call, you're dealing with AI, basically.
Yeah.
Press 3, press 4. I'm going to invent an AI to deal with AI. So when you call, it goes through all the buttons.
Yeah, that's probably out there.
That would definitely be nice. That would be nice.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. So you had mentioned that you got some new songs heading down to Nashville to record them again with Adam Knight at the
AOK.
AOK. Yeah. I almost said XOX. See, I don't know what I'm doing. Don't pay attention. At the AOK Studios in Nashville. Does that mean another album's on the horizon?
I don't know. So with the band, and I'm going to talk about the band a little bit. Man, I have been blessed to get these people to play with me. We've talked before the last couple of times about Stu Sinks. He's from Brighton. Excellent lead guitar player. Excellent, just even acoustic guitar, all that stuff, right? He's a really good musician, and he's very talented. He's very talented with the PAs, the sounds, and all that stuff. And
hey, shout out to Stu, by the way. We're hoping to have him tonight, but he couldn't make it because of his dad, and he's taking care of his dad. So kudos to Stu,
good
man,
for him,
and,
right?
and
Family
best
first.
wishes, yeah.
Exactly. So he had reached out. I told you the story before. He reached out to me and asked me if we wanted to start doing stuff. We did an acoustic gig together at a campground of all places a couple of Augusts ago, and then we had another guitar player that came up practice a couple times, and a drummer. The guitar player didn't work out. He just had too much going on. The drummer we stuck with for a little bit over a year, and after the guitar player left, a guy named Joe Moran came up and Matt Odom. They're from the area as well. Joe's from Brighton and Matt's from Meadowbrook. And Joe hadn't been in a band before, and he's an acoustic guitar player. But, man, he's really, really learned quick on the acoustic, so he does a great job. Matt's been a rhythm guitar player his whole life, and that dude's just so talented. He can sing and all that, but he sings like the Alice in Chains type. So he sings our Chris Stapleton songs when we play Chris Stapleton. Joe sings a little bit of the higher stuff. We got some higher songs. He'll sing that Jelly Roll, stuff like that. Save Me. But we had a great acquisition. Our drummer decided to go a different way, and at that time, a father and a daughter moved down from Rockford, Illinois, about 8 months ago, and they were looking for a band. And I'm thinking, father and a daughter, what? Chris Brady and Lily Allen, and she's on Facebook as a Lily Allen Music CO. So if you guys go to Facebook, look her up. She's very talented. So she started off we actually had our original drummer right when she first came down. She started off as our keyboard player. Then she went to our acoustic player off and on whenever Joe couldn't make it to practice. And we had one gig she played acoustic for us when Joe couldn't make it. And now she's on the drums because our drummer had to leave. And the drum is her natural. Wow. That's her natural instrument. I
like her already.
Yeah,
I like her a lot.
She does a great job on the drums. So shout out to all of them, right? And then Matt's girlfriend, Trisha Leggitt. She's our backup singer now, and she's also does keyboards on some of the songs as well. So there's 7 of us that are in it. I hope I said all 7 of them.
Yeah, you said, let's see, Sneezy, Doc, Sleepy.
Grumpy. I'm the grumpy.
I'm Dopey.
But, man, those guys are great, and without them, obviously, I wouldn't be doing any of this.
Awesome.
So 7 members in a band, just for anyone who doesn't understand how hard it is to do that, that's a tough practice to get together.
Yeah, but some of them don't show up, so you just, the girl goes wherever she needs to go.
Well, actually...
So it sounds like Lily Ann is movable. Like somebody don't show up, you just
never
move
had
them around.
people like
well,
to
we
not
can't
show
now.
up?
Oh, yeah. we can't now.
All the time.
She's our drummer, so
Yeah,
we can't just
right.
move her because we don't have anyone else to play drums.
No, it's funny. Pigpen missed out when Tracy came in. I was talking to him about how much fun it's been to watch him start from scratch.
I know.
And go through all this because we,
It's
20
like a
years,
whirlwind, man.
20 years we've been doing things, and to see this happen has been absolutely fun to watch.
Like
because
I said, diligent. You got to be diligent.
You're real transparent. So you can tell when you're learning and how you're learning, and I'm watching you do the things that we learned, and so it's been incredibly enjoyable. And one of the things you learn as you go along is no fault to any band members, but they rotate in and out sometimes because everybody's got things they have to deal with, which gets me to something I don't know if we've ever mentioned before, but you mentioned it a little bit earlier. You have a day job. You work at the Refinery.
Yes.
That's like a serious
That's
day
a job.
Yeah, it's a job.
That's
yes, sir.
40 plus hours probably a week.
Yeah,
easy.
I work around 50 hours a week.
Keeps you writing good songs, though.
Yeah.
It keeps you real, man. Otherwise, you're just like, I'm in a castle in the sky.
It's a great job. I'm very, very blessed. Been out there 15 years. 3 years before. I was a union carpenter for 18 years, 16 years of my life. So.
Yeah, and this is something I don't know if we touch on it enough, how much extra work goes into being in a band when you have a job and a family to go along with that, and that's why members rotate in and out and everything else as life happens along the way.
Yeah.
And But guess what, Tracy? That inspires new songs too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely,
It definitely does.
And you know, to jump on that one, like even you know, Dennis is talking about you working at a refinery and having a family and how hard it is. Even touring musicians, that this is their job, life takes over.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling you about the band I saw on New Year's Eve, touring band, Andy Frasco and the UN. Their saxophone player's taking a year off, having a baby. This is his job. This is what he does. They are a touring band that this is, and they just got signed to a major label.
Yeah.
But still, it's so important to him. Family.
Oh, yeah.
He's taking, and even if you don't have another job, life sideswipes you, and that is your job. You know.
and I wonder just
it
how
definitely
many
does.
listeners walk into a bar and don't realize how much goes
Goes
into
into it,
what
yeah.
that bar,
Yeah.
what that band is doing right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
and it goes beyond learning songs and playing them, which takes a lot of time.
It's, a lot of
There's
people
way
get,
more going on. So.
a lot of people get to walk into an event and just enjoy the ride. I'm slightly envious because I often, as much as I'm enjoying the ride, I'm still looking at it with the producer's eye, going, "Well, how'd they do that? How can
Yeah,
I do that
exactly.
cheaper?" You know,
Well, yeah.
I look at a project and I go, "Man, a lot of work went into this." You know, and a lot of people have no idea.
And this is where, we always talk about there's more than just the band. He's got a promoter. He's got the guy down at the studio at AOK Records.
Yeah.
All those guys chipping in and helping is huge to an artist. So if you're around an artist, keep that in mind. There are things you can do to help an artist, even if you don't have the talent to play an instrument. They need help, and there are jobs you can do to help them.
Oh, yeah.
They don't pay well.
Yeah.
It don't pay at all.
A good sound guy is worth every cent,
Right.
right?
You ain't kidding there,
Sometimes,
man. It is
but-
tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bad sound guy's not worth anything.
Yeah.
Garbage
Yeah.
in, garbage out. But anyway,
I was just getting at, some of the jobs are volunteer type jobs. You
Yeah.
got to run the
Oh, yeah.
the booth, or for the
absolutely.
merch. You got to have somebody that's out there spreading the word for you, getting the word out, and
It takes dedication.
getting in
from
touch with
everybody.
media. And he's doing a lot of this on his own.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
up
what I
here,
mean?
I'm the one that get that.
Yeah.
I'm, the other guys in the band, they reach out to help with the gigs and all that as well. But that's for the Tracy Inman band. For the Tracy Inman stuff, I'm the one that I'm trying to reach out to the radio stations.
Yeah.
I'm trying to reach out to all that.
And-
So
and-
speaking of the band, let me ask you this: the first album, your band wasn't on that. That was
No.
those were studio musicians from Nashville that,
Yep.
that Adam Knight had acquired or
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
go-
yeah. Hey, one of them is the guitar player, Austin Crum. He plays with Josh Turner. Remember Josh Turner, that train song with his real deep voice? Fast moving train. I forget how it goes. But
Sounds
he was
like
really
Johnny Cash.
popular in the early 2000s. And he's still popular. He still tours. This guy tours with him.
Right.
So that's cool. I have a touring musician.
Yeah.
Right. So with the new, the new songs that are happening, I know in the past you would give Adam your song ideas, you'd hum the melody, give him the lyrics, and he would, get the musicians together, sort of arrange it, send it to you, and then you guys go back and forth on the arrangement until you go, that's it, and then you go down and put the lyric and record the vocals. Is it going that way again on the new stuff, or is it going to be that the
For the
band
first
goes down?
couple, it's going that way. And I reached out, to Stu. Stu and I started this band together. And the one thing I didn't want to do is alienate anybody, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to him first. I talked to him. I said, hey, so, I got some songs in my head, and I might go down there and start doing them. And he says, hey, go ahead and do what you got to do. Because just like you had made the point earlier, Dennis, that, there are rotating things throughout life, throughout the whole timeline. And it's right. I mean, so for the first couple, one's one of them, like I said, is a Christian song, so I know they're probably, I'm not saying they would or wouldn't, but my feeling is a couple of them might not want to do it. The other one is just something that I threw together and I have to do, and man, I got the music for it. It's awesome. Me and Adam put that music together, and it's really good.
I'm excited.
But the goal is, of course, to have the band be able to go down with me to do just.
Yeah.
But you also got to realize, too, I mean, it's awesome going down there, but for everybody else, too, you don't have to go to Nashville to do this. There's places all over the area that
You record your tracks and send them. Yeah.
Exactly. You can send them
yeah.
down there. They can put it on a CD for you. Not Spotify, but there's a lot of different places that can do that. And But you could reach out to a producer, give them your album. Maybe they might want to make it better for you, whatever.
Right. Now, those guys down there in the studio are a little bit different than the guys that you're playing with, though, because those guys are trained to take a song and put it together and create what they've created, whereas a band, it's new to them sometimes that they're writing a song. So here's a little advice, and a lot of touring bands do this. They write the song, they rehearse the song, and then they play the song for a while.
Yeah.
And the song's going to change.
Yeah.
Yep.
As the musicians get used to it and play it more and more and more, the more reps you can get in before you get down to the studio is only going to help enhance that song.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like you say, if you've got studio musicians, this is their job. This is what they do every day. They get up and they do this. But if you and they got a chord chart in front of them or whatever, if you take your guys down there, I couldn't agree more that, man, to know the song and know it well.
No, you have to a lot of practice into it. Right?
So now we understand now that you also have some Buddhists in your band that might not want to do Christian.
No, it wasn't. No, it ain't that. To be fair, I probably shouldn't have said that. I don't know.
Hey,
you
don't want to push your things on your ideas on
my
them.
ideals on anybody
if they
else.
agree with what you agree with, hey, let's all get along with it. You don't need to fight about it if you don't, man.
Now, do I think that all my people and all the guys in the band could do it? Do any song I put in front of them? Yes, I do, because they are all very, very, very talented people.
And Pigpen will agree with me on this one too. A lot of times your band's not even listening to your lyrics. They're more concerned with their job. You see what I mean? Seriously. And so it may not matter that it's a Christian song because they like the riff or they like the beat.
The melody,
Right. You see what I mean? So
or just the uplifting feeling or whatever.
Right.
And another thing I like to add too is, as we get older, there's only so much time we have, right?
Right.
So when I come up with an idea, it's not trying to alienate people or anything like that. It's like I've waited 4 or 5 months on this one song that I'm having Adam do, right? And I've waited probably 9 months on the Christian song, right? You never know how much time you got.
Yeah.
And we could play and argue about it, not argue, but play and have different thoughts about it for a year, 2 years before you even do it, or I just go down and do it, right? That doesn't mean that there's other songs that Lily might write. She actually writes songs too. There's other songs. Joe might write a song.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that we can't all work on it eventually. Right now we're trying to get out there. We got to talk about the band, of course. We play newer stuff. We play Luke Combs. We play a lot of Chris Stapleton, Riley Green. There's a Connor Smith song called Creek Will Rise. We just learned that last night. It's been out for probably 8 months. But man, we play some really good songs, and we have some top 25 songs picked for the other ones, and we still play a couple of the originals in the set list too.
For sure.
And the most exciting thing is when all those people are out there dancing,
and they stay up for the original.
Yeah, and especially, but you go over the years, I've gone and see bands, and it's unfortunate when people don't dance. Yeah. You got to do your best to get them out there, but some people just stand there and sing. I actually get out into the dance floor with them singing. Our guys are very energetic. Stu gets out there with his guitar and plays, and I know eventually the other people will too. It's just so much fun to see people dance to your original song. So man, it's
for
just
sure.
And then to turn around and look at the band and they're having fun playing your original song. That's one of the proudest moments because you have the respect of your band that they'll even play it.
Well, that's the thing. When you get it played on the radio, you're mixed in with these artists that people are familiar with. It's no different when you're in a cover band and you're playing those songs that people are familiar with, and then to be able to drop in an original. A lot of people don't even announce it's an original. Just play it and see what kind of reaction you get. Sometimes you hear, oh, they're playing an original, I'm going to go pee. You know what I mean? Just because.
And that's a discussion, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we're trying to figure out the set list. Last night we were doing the set list. Yesterday day too, we had a couple originals in one set, right? The second set, I think it was. And the feedback after talking to everybody was, if you put two of them in the same set, you could potentially alienate someone to move, to not want to stay because they think you're just a cover band. Right. Or if you start off with a cover song in the first set, they might think, oh, this is just a cover band. It's tough to pick those sets. Joe knows about it and Stu knows about it. Stu's been doing it for years. But it's really tough. It's just a roll the dice, right?
You brought up playing some Chris Stapleton songs. What's we've had him, Tommy Carlos?
Yeah.
I believe he wrote one of the Chris Stapleton's
Yeah,
tunes. He's from East Alton.
He is from
a
East
good-
Alton.
good
He's younger than
songwriter
me.
There. Are you familiar with Jason Isbell?
I know the
Country
name.
songwriter. What brought him to mind is the way you were saying, well, look, we could sit and discuss this song and hammer it out for 2 years, and maybe it'll be a different song, but I want to move on. There's only so much time, and I saw an interview with Isbell where he says he likes to put out an album a year because he can look at that album and it reminds him of that year of his life.
Yeah.
Because he writes the songs, and it's not songs from 20 years ago. It's new songs,
Yeah.
and I heard that and I thought, wow, what an amazing thing to be able to do, to write an album's worth of songs every year. But the way you're doing it, saying, well, I'm not gonna, no time to wait, man. We don't know how many days we got left, so let's just do this thing.
Yeah, one of the fears is passing away and your kids are going through your stuff and they find 100 pages of lyrics.
Right.
They have no idea what was going on in your head when you read them, when you wrote them, and they have no idea what the melody would be. Right. So one of the good things would be to try to get the melody in.
And
somehow.
you've been saying that since the first time we interviewed you, that this is more about leaving a legacy for my kids than anything at that point. And then all this has happened since, and obviously that gets your brain spinning in different directions.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah. Hey, let's announce some of these shows before we get a little farther into it. We got on Friday night. We got the Trinity's Way open mic at Mavis Coffee at the Old Milton School in Alton from 6 until 9. And Mila Duffy is going to be playing down at Morrison's Irish Pub from 6 until 10. They're having jazz night down at the Conservatory, a little bit different for a Friday night. By the way, next week, the open mic, which is usually on Wednesday nights down at the Conservatory, they're moving it to Thursdays now, so it'll be every Thursday night. So we're going to lose part of our listening audience right there, Pigpen. Like 3 people are going to probably go down. Anyway, so they're having jazz night this Friday with the After Hours Combo, and that's a $5 cover at the Conservatory, up all night at Fast Eddie's, Harvest Drive at the BFW, and Spilly Nelson out at Baker's and Hale in Godfrey on Friday night from 7 until 10. Rewind will be out at Locke's Brick House in Bethalto, and Borderline will be playing the VFW in Wood River on Friday night. Also, let's see what else is going on. Looks like that's most of the local stuff. Of course, we got stuff going on in Granite City and Edwardsville, and a pretty good list there, Pigpen, and they can find all that stuff out at cottonmouth.org, of course, where we keep the list all the time.
One of the things that are on here that just sticks out to me is the Grand Illusion.
Right.
Not the Grand Illusion.
They're
it's
the
the
Wild
Grand
End.
Illusion.
That's right. That's Scott Marlin. Scott Marlin's in that band, and
Nice.
so
The
he's
old
doing
Blue
that.
Marlin. Yeah, that's obviously going to be a Styx.
Yep, 6
Styx cover there. But when I saw the Illusion, yeah, very.
On Saturday night, we got Biff Gnarly's birthday bash going on.
Oh, nice.
Down at the Conservatory with Dracula Johnson, that's who he's playing with now, Biff. He does that thing.
Nice.
We got Toy Husband, 86 Red, Young Animals, Midwest Goodbye, and I don't know, SRTEZ. That's probably some like TTYL thing that I can't translate because I don't text. But anyways, also number 4 combo playing on Saturday at the BFW in Alton. Will Levi at Bossa Nova's on Saturday night from 7 until 10. We got the Double Wide Duo. I think that's their first show at Fast Eddie. And Twisted Road, I think, has been down there at Fast Eddie's. Let's see. Case 44 out at Baker's and Hale. That's a new name to me, from 7 until 10. And then the Retro Nerds down at the Pump House in Wood River. They are exciting. They are totally retro nerds. I mean, the name's perfect. Chico's is playing gigs again. Cabin Fever is going to be down there. You know who Cabin Fever is, don't you, Pigman?
Who's Cabin Fever?
That's Mike Rach and his son.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Yeah, old Mikey Rach.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Rach.
Kevin Gruen up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville, and Rewind going to be at the Grafton Winery on Saturday. New Prairie Drifter is going to be doing Jacob Myers in Granite City. Good to see them. Jacob Myers doing a little bit more stuff from 8 until 11. Skid Roses.
Nice.
You know what kind of tribute that is, right?
A little Skid Row, a little Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Scott
somebody
Michelle
singing
talked
high.
about them coming to the mill in Granite City. So that's going on Saturday night. And Let's see, Tracy Inman Band. You ever hear
Support
that?
live music.
You know what? I believe I heard that guy is actually a Grammy-nominated Nashville recording artist who, is really shooting up the charts fast. I'd
He'll
like
be
to
at
meet
the-
that guy sometime.
Heard he's trying.
And a good-looking man. Is handsome. All eye candy there.
Oh, thank you.
He's getting to know you now.
Oh, I'm going to scoot a little closer here in a second.
I-
We got 10 minutes left to get this party going.
Yeah.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Mention again, the Backstage is where you'll be playing on Saturday.
Yeah.
Tracy Inman Band, and so there you go. How about a stand-up going to be going on across the street with Michael Myers?
Okay.
I'm assuming that's not the horror guy.
I'm not sure.
It's
Dying to see him.
Michael Myers.
It's a comedy weekend. We got it going on tonight down at the Conservatory, and then again on Saturday. Good to see more stand-up comedy. Still one of the toughest things to do out there, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
As an
It is.
entertainer.
It is a rough
Just
one.
stand there and be
sure.
funny.
Right. Here you go. A little wrestling going on too.
That's right.
CHWA, the Cottage Hills Wrestling Association. That's Saturday night at the Legion.
That's been their home base for
In
a while
Edwardsville.
now, so good for them. Cottage Hills Wrestling Association. And, of course, all the other usual venues we mentioned out in Glen Carbon, Edwardsville, Granite City, Grafton. You can find the list at cottonmouth.org. The Lone Lester, you know who that is, right?
The Lone Lester's at Lance?
Yeah, that's
Well,
Lance. He's the Lone Lester, and he's playing out at Baker's and Hale on Sunday from 3 until 6.
Just chatted with him the other day about Chaser, the new his new act. He's pretty excited about. Hey, here's one more we should mention. Remember when the back bar was for sale?
I do.
And everybody was all
Now it's called Backstage.
Backstage. Well, now Wild Pickens is for sale.
Right.
So 1.9 million. It's not that much. It's not even. You could probably find that kind of change in your car.
One
You
of our-
guys buy it, and I'll come play every weekend for you.
I tell you what, you loan me the money to buy it, and then I'll hire you to play.
I think the guys from Soulshine Groove said it's more than that when they were here. I mentioned that when they were here, and they're like, I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
That's the listing I see.
Yeah,
But
that's a lot of grapes.
we talked about Chico's coming back and doing stuff. We lost a few venues. We talked about that recently, but we picked up just as many. Shea Maryland's has been sold. And so hopefully in the future we'll get to see some gigs down at Shea Maryland's. They were doing quite a few at one time.
And so Cat Daddy's has also recently been sold, and I believe that they are going to try and do acoustic single duo, type acts down there, which, hey, whatever venues we can get for any live music, I am excited about.
Agreed.
So
Exciting time around the river bend, and don't forget to tune into the Grammys on February 2nd. I'm voting for Tracy Inman. Can I do that? I
it's a
guess
write-in
it's
vote.
too late.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
write-in
write-in
vote.
one, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
too-
yeah, absolutely.
But Chris Stapleton, we mentioned him earlier. He's in the final 5,
Yeah, he
along
is.
with Jelly Roll and
I
Deon.
think he won last year. Chris Stapleton did.
I
Then
hope.
he don't need to win again.
We play
Make room for other people, Chris.
we
Let
play
Tracy have your
we
spot.
play a song White Horse. That's a rockin' country song, man. We play that, and they do it really, really well. I don't see that Matt does. He does really well.
That's a new aspect of Tracy Inman that we hadn't talked to him about, and that's doing covers. This is all started since you started the band up, and so mainly country, I guess, is what you're doing there?
Yeah, for the most part. The goal is to be able to do originals as an opening act or something, the Wildy or stuff like that. I've reached out to them a few times trying to get in there, but until that happens, we're doing covers, and we have, I think, probably 70, 75 covers. 80% of them are all country, but we're learning the newer stuff. We have probably 15 or 20 of the actual stuff that's in the top 100 right now over the last 8-9 months, and we're continually adding to it. So when people come see us, they're hearing new music. And eventually it's going to be half new music, then eventually it's going to be 75% music, and eventually 95% music, all new music,
All right, so here you go. You were talking about getting in, opening up for bands at Wildy is what you threw out.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what-
Are you familiar with the Mills down in Granite City?
Yeah, that's
It
one.
is a new. It's not that new now. It's been open for about a year or something, but it is a really nice. The way the mayor had explained it to me when they were building it is he wanted it to be like a mini Ryman.
Yeah.
And it's an old church.
I think I may have seen one thing about it on Facebook.
And I'm telling you, this is just like something that you might not know because you are the kind of guy that's in the know. But they do have touring bands that come through there that you could get an opening act for. However, here's a good way to get in with those people. Those people happen to love tribute bands.
Yes.
So you get your band to learn a night of tribute songs to Chris Stapleton, whoever. You go, hey, we're going to come in and do that. That gets you in the door with them.
No, you're right. Those places, the Wildies, the same thing, man. They love the
tribute bands. Yeah.
The ultimate way to open up for a touring act, though, is to book that touring act and then open for them. It really is.
It works.
Yeah, if I had a venue to play them, hey, come to my house, my backyard.
And the smart way to do that, as we've learned over the years, is to catch them on tour, see if they've got an open date near St. Louis, and contact their tour manager, not their other manager.
And that's harder than what you think, too, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get a hold of their just management is very hard, you know?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, like, I put a bid in on a band back 3-4 years ago, and they're not to talk too much smack, but their booking agent let me sit for months without telling me, like, hey, maybe it's going to happen, maybe it's not. And then a friend of mine just happened to be at the singer's house and saw that it was on his calendar. And I called the booking agent, and he didn't actually. They had it booked, but he didn't actually put it in. He didn't ink it in because if he gets a better offer, he can still back out. It's like, quit playing. And look, I understand your job is to make the most money for the band, and you get paid on commission, so the more they make, but at some point, you can't jack around all the promoters out here that are just trying to put something together either.
I agree.
So
now,
it's a hard game to play there.
If you want to try a really tough game, you can do like BC Homegrown did and just rent a theater.
They rented it. Yeah, I know Brad.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I used to work with him.
That was mind blowing because when we first heard about that, here's a cover band, the Screaming Eagles jam band, right? That all of a sudden said, we're going to stop doing that. We're going to do all originals. We're going to play a show in a theater.
Yep.
And we were looking at them like, okay, I hope this works.
They sold a lot of tickets.
They did sell.
Yeah, they did.
But see, it comes back to that, Tracy. You got to put in the work. And
Agreed.
you put in the work.
Right.
You got talent.
They put in the work.
You put in the work.
yeah.
There's other talented guys just like you out there, but do they work as hard at, taking those turn downs and then going right back at people?
Like I
That's
said,
a difficult thing to do.
If it wasn't for the band, and I know we're running out of time, so I just want to give a shout out to those guys. Thank you guys so much for helping make this dream a reality, and hopefully I do you guys justice.
Yeah, and I have never met anybody in the band, and I have no idea what Lily looks like, but I'm in love with her already. She plays this. We needed a drummer, so she just went over.
She sings too. She's a good singer.
Her dad's in the band.
I'm not going to say
I just
too.
wanna
I
calm you down.
He's our bassist.
My wife's probably listening. That doesn't change the fact that I'm suddenly smitten with Lily Ann or whatever.
Lily Allen. Lily Allen Music
Lily
Co.
Allen.
on Facebook. If you guys want to pull her up, she has an original song out there, and she's going to do another one.
Haven't heard her sing. Haven't heard her play. Don't have a clue what she looks like. She could be a troll. It doesn't matter.
She does one man band stuff on her own. She does an acoustic gigs.
You know
She's
what?
in Warden last weekend.
I told you how tough it is to just come up with comedy. Now you're seeing us, scramble to try to come up with comedy.
Well, it's in the air. It's across the street.
It's not comedy. I'm really sitting here going, I've been married 25 years. Can I get an annulment? Because Lily Allen sounds like she's. No, I'm just kidding. anyway, so.
See, I told you it was comedy.
There you go. Waka, waka, waka. Hey, thanks so much, Tracy, for coming in. I'm so glad that we got to have you live, and I think we went a whole hour, and I barely screwed it up. So that's it's a.
Well,
I probably talked more than I should have. So.
No, that's me every time.
We're going to review the tape on you, Pigmen, before we decide how you did.
Please don't. Let's just let the past be the past.
I don't think
come out and see us, folks, if you can. You really enjoy the show. We're high energy, and we'll get out. We'll dance with you.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
That'd
fun
be Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night in Edwardsville, and then at Copper Fire the next weekend. Yeah,
so if you're watching the video, maybe this didn't come out before the 18th for the backstage event, but you can catch them at Copper Fire on the 25th. You can catch them on the 1st of February at the Refinery in Wood River, back at Copper Fire on the 15th, at Besserman's Superbowl in Gillespie on the 22nd, back at Backstage on the 14th of March, and then the 15th of March at Tri-County Rod and Gun Club right here in town. Fast Eddie's on the 29th of March, back at the Refinery on the 5th of April, back at Backstage on the 19th of April, back at the Super Bowl, the Besserman Super Bowl in Gillespie on the 26th, and then you got some other venues later in the year. I'd like to mention that you're going to be playing the Prairie Inn in Dorsey.
Yes.
So that's June 7th.
What's good is these places ask us back, and they get us on a rotating schedule, so
Right.
that means that we are pretty good.
Right.
So,
And then all the way down to Farmington, Missouri in September.
Wow.
What
yeah.
is that, Charleville?
Yeah, it's right. It's right. We played Midway a couple months ago, which is right in St. Genevieve, right outside of St. Genevieve. Between that and Farmington, we ended up meeting people from there that night. They liked us enough that they booked us.
That's how it happens. The more you play out, the more you get
play,
seen, right?
The more you know.
And it looks like you're playing a little festival, too, in September, the Harvest Hoedown,
Yeah, that's the Sweetwater Saloon in New Douglas.
right?
He's putting together a festival, and he said, I want to make sure you guys are on it. He booked us first, and he says he's looking for a couple other bands. That was 3 months ago, so I'm hoping he found the bands by now.
So you can find you guys on Facebook, Tracy Inman Band on
Yep.
Facebook. You got a group as well, the Tracy Inman
Oh,
group.
Tracy Inman Band on Facebook. There's Tracy Inman Fan Group on Facebook. There's TracyInmanMusic.com. That has all of our shows on it as well. And yeah, Tracy Inman on Facebook, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there for us. Tracy Inman Music page. That was
He
the other
said
one.
on Facebook.
On
I
Facebook.
heard, I like that's some self-promotion right there.
You know, the first thing you guys ever said about that song was how much guitar was in it. We figured out, I think there's 5 guitars in that song.
Oh, really?
Wow.
I don't
Yeah.
remember saying that, but we probably did.
I was going to say, we probably listened to it, and if we heard lots of guitars, that's the first thing we're going to say. So,
There were a lot of guitars. All those songs have a lot of guitars, but our guys do great.
Yeah,
Well,
so
hey,
that's the
man.
other thing, too. I bet you're listening to music differently now, aren't you? Now that you've
yeah.
recorded and, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's changed.
It's a curse.
It's awesome.
yeah, I was going to say,
It's a curse eventually. You wish you could just hear it like a band.
Just enjoy the
eventually.
ride, man.
If I died tomorrow, man, all 99% of the stuff I wanted to do.
Well,
is
we're going
done.
to keep you around. You
go.
keep talking about your end here, man. We
Oh
don't
no,
want you going
yeah,
anywhere,
I'm
brother.
planning on going forever, but or somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm very appreciative of what I have.
Absolutely.
All
Well,
right.
hey, thanks so much for coming down here and talking to us once again. Nashville recording artist, Grammy nominated. You can find him on all the jukeboxes. What's it called again?
Touch Tunes.
Touch Tunes. You can find him on Touch Tunes, which is an erotic site, I think. I'm not sure.
It's on all the platforms and
It's-
everything too. So.
Yeah. So Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you put find music, you can find Tracy Inman. Check him out Facebook. If you want to know about all those gigs Dennis listed where he's playing, through the whole summer, just go to cottonmouth.org, and all those gigs are listed. Also, big thanks to Matt Van Voris from Macias Insurance. Sexy Matt. And thanks to Halpin Music. 10 years they've been paying for us to come in and have a celebration of jackassery every Thursday night. Thanks for coming down and being a
thank
part
you
of
for
it,
having
buddy.
me
Best of luck to you in the
Thank you.
future. I'm sure as hard as you work and with everything you got going for you, as long as you don't keel over tomorrow like you keep talking about, you're going to do great. Hey, thanks again, man. Everybody, thanks for listening. Everybody, make sure you get out and support local music and art.